I'm talking to Linda Powers about yoga on the island. And can you tell us a little bit more about what yoga classes you're organising on the island and who participates and what numbers and what times and how and when and all the details?
I have regular classes throughout the year on a Monday morning at 9 o'clock, Wednesday morning 9 o'clock, and Saturday morning 9 o'clock. And the classes last for an hour and a half. And then I have a class on a Wednesday afternoon at Clara's Conference Centre at 12 o'clock. And that class is for an hour and a half also.
And so an hour and a half sounds like a good time to spend doing a yoga session there. Why is that? And how does this session get to be made up?
Well, you start off very slowly, very gradually, very calmly to start off with. And then we kind of slowly move into the postures. We don't push ourselves. We just gradually move into them. So we ease into stretches. And we have, at the end of the class, we have about a 15-minute relaxation. And throughout the class, we work with our breathing, and we just gradually, move into all these different poses. The poses are called postures, they're, basically we work with our breath in all the poses.
Now, for somebody that's never done yoga before, is this a big thing to get into, or is it, what's involved?
Is it a big thing to get into, did you say?
Can any beginner just take it up?
Anybody can take it up. I had Wayne's mother with me last week, who's 88, never done yoga before, and she came along to 2 classes and thoroughly enjoyed it and has gone back to Auckland wanting to take up yoga classes in Auckland. So you're never too old, it's never too late. You can start off very slowly. You start off with beginners classes, or you can come into a regular class. As long as you let me know that you're a beginner, and we can just adjust the poses to suit the person who comes. If you have problems, we can, adjust the poses to suit those problems.
One of the things I've always enjoyed about your classes is that they seem to sort of fit all levels. There's beginners alongside people that have done it for years, and everybody seems to be getting their benefits out of it. So that works well, that you can deal with different ability levels, I think.
Yeah, you can deal with most problems with yoga, because in our classes we use yoga props, which enable you to get into the poses more easily. So if you are inflexible, we use straps or we use blocks. So it doesn't matter, if you're a beginner or an advanced student, you still get the same benefits out of the poses.
Now, I've got a bit of a backache, Linda.
Yes.
And how would you advise yoga could help me with that?
Well, first of all, if you have a problem, you have to start off with the basics and your foundation, which generally is coming from your posture, coming from the way we sit, from the way we hold ourselves. Notice Rent sits up straight away. And, the work that we've been doing. Quite often, for men who do a lot of physical work, it's that repetitive movement of bending and lifting and twisting. So if we strengthen the muscles that hold the back into place, this generally helps to, ease the pain as well. But also being able to, work properly with your posture when you're doing these jobs. Yeah.
Actually, another time I was advised to take up yoga is when I had some bad bone breakage.
Yes.
Is that after injury like that, is yoga a good thing to do, or is that something that you should actually avoid while you're healing up? How does it fit in?
It depends on the injury itself, and you really have to go to a proper yoga class, a teacher who is certificated to deal with these problems. So if you have an injury, the teacher herself will know that you work with props so that you don't make the problem worse, that you also work very carefully, and the main thing is to work with your breathing so that you're more sensitive to areas in your body that, are tense, that are tight, that are inflexible, or that are in pain. So if you're working in a posture and it's painful, you notice the difference between a sharp pain and a dull pain. So if it's a sharp pain, that's not good. If it's just a dull pain, it means that you're working the muscles in that area that are tight, that there's tension there. So you need to relax and be able to stretch those areas out. It will definitely help any injuries. So if you have injured yourself, it will help the circulation in those areas and help to, move any toxicity, calcification, anything that's building up in those areas, because you're stretching them and moving the blood circulation into those areas.
That's, as you're saying, that sounds quite a universal remedy yoga is. One of the things I've taken away from it is what you just mentioned before, the self-awareness of how your body feels when it's well, how your body moves, and what the effect of stretching is that one does in yoga. So this self-awareness is really something that I've taken away from, and I've kind of heard you kind of emphasize a lot as well in the way you teach. Is that something that is part of your practice, or is that part of yoga procedure as a whole?
That's basically what yoga's really all about, is that self-awareness, is bringing that awareness back into yourself. So when you work with your breath, it works outwardly, but it also works inwardly. So it takes you deeper and deeper within yourself to become more sensitive, to feel what's happening in your body, and also calm the mind, the emotions. They all work together in these postures. It just takes regular practice, and you feel that self-awareness.
Now you've been doing yoga for quite a few years here in the island. When exactly did you first start teaching others yoga?
I first started, I would say, 35 years ago.
Now, if I got the story right, that involved you actually having to walk right over Allen Bay, or where you were at the time, and just coming all the way out. I mean, it was quite an adventure just to get to yoga class, wasn't it?
Yeah, especially when the creeks were flooding, and I knew I had to get out by 9 o'clock, and I'd sometimes have to crawl across a fallen log across the creek on my hands and knees, and it was quite an epic.
So 35 years ago, okay. I should actually be doing this for the history research group here. So where exactly were your first classes?
My first classes were in South Australia. And I went to an evening class, and the teacher had lost her voice, and she called me over and asked me if I would take the class. And I wasn't really prepared, but my friends, were all saying, "Oh, you've got to do it." So I took the first class then, and the teacher stopped teaching, and I just carried on teaching from then on.
And so this is 35 years. Have we had 35 years of yoga classes on the island now? Does it add up that much or not?
I was teaching on the island 34 years ago, and yes, I started teaching at the old Clara's Club when it was at where the medical centre is now, and I used to teach at the Aero Club also, and I've got students that used to come then that are still coming now. One of my oldest students is Rebecca Park, and she's just such an amazing inspiration to all my yoga students in the class.
So how long has Rebecca been coming to your class?
33 years on and off.
Bravo, Rebecca. If anybody is listening out there and sees Rebecca, just congratulations here from us for being a dedicated yoga student. Hey, Linda, I'm just going to take a break here just for a moment to play a track of music, but I want to talk a little bit more about what makes people come back to yoga for 33 years running. That's quite an impressive record. But for now, we're going to have another track of music here.